beautiful people, welcome to my channel. My name is Tochi. If you see me for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel, okay? And I assure you that you won't regret it. And to all my returning subscribers, you guys are wonderful. Thank you all for your love. Thank you for your support. Thank you for always watching my videos, for always sharing my videos. I appreciate. Thank you all. So guys, in today's video, we'll be looking at possible interview questions for the healthcare assistant roles and possible or expected answers. Now note that I'm not a professional and I'm not a recruiter of any form, okay? This video is just based on my research, right? Some people reached out to me that they've been booked for interview section for the role of healthcare assistant, right? And they were like, can you just help us with possible interview questions, you know, interview tips and all of that, because they are nervous and this is kind of new to them. And that led me to doing a research for this video, right? So I made this research to help them and every other person who will be interested in applying for a healthcare assistant role. So I have my device here where I've made my points. So if you see me looking down, just know I'm looking into my device, okay? Let's not waste much time. Let's just get right into the video. Now, these are some questions that are likely to be asked during an interview for a healthcare assistant role. Okay? They might not ask you all the questions I'm going to list in this video, but at least some of them are likely to come up. So I'm going to be telling you some questions and their possible answers that they expect you to give to those questions. So number one will be, tell us about yourself. Right? This question is usually asked in most interviews, right? So this is an opportunity for you to sell yourself, right? It's usually an open-ended question. So it's time for you to tell them everything they need to know about you. Now, for our interview, you must sound very confident. Let them know that you know what you're saying. So look them in the eyes and sell yourself. So this is an open-ended question, right? So usually nobody would interrupt you, okay? So just talk. Sound confident, look confident, and talk, and let them know that, okay, this one knows what he or she is saying. Now, this question is basically for you to talk about your experience, your qualities, and your interest in the role, okay? It's not time for things that are not important, like your best food, your best clothes, no. It's time for you to sell yourself. Okay, so here it's time for you to talk about your experience, either your healthcare experience in a professional setting or in an unprofessional setting. You know, by that I mean if you're taking care of anybody who is aged, who is sick, who is autistic. If you basically have any experience at all, it's time for you to talk about it here, right? You can also mention your qualifications as well. It's the time for you to talk about your qualities as well, like you're compassionate, you're caring, you're kind, you're professional, and that you're highly organized, you know, things like that. You talk about your interest in the role, how you love the job, how you're passionate about it, how you love to take care of people, you know, things like that. Basically, link your personal interest to healthcare. Now, note that these questions are in no particular order, okay? It's just the way that I wrote them down. Number two question is, why do you want to be a healthcare assistant? They'll tell you, tell us why you want to be a healthcare assistant. So now you can say you have a caring nature, you like to take care of people, you are kind, and that you enjoy being a healthcare assistant. You can also go further to tell them that you like to help people be the best of themselves and that you want to match your skills, values, and experience. And they may now ask you, what are the attributes that make a great healthcare assistant, right? So you can say the person must be caring, professional, able to prioritize, patient, he's a team player, he's kind, he follows procedure, he's observant, he's physically fit, he's calm under pressure. Very important, calm under pressure. And that he's diplomatic, and then that he's outcome focused. The next question is, how would you deal with an abusive or aggressive resident or patient, as the case may be? Now, when answering this question, right, safety should be your priority. Let everything you're going to say boil down to safety, all right? You're going to be safe and the resident is going to be safe, okay? And they might now go ahead to ask you, tell me a positive experience you've had with a resident and a less positive. So for the positive, you can go ahead to say that you supported a young patient and that you successfully de-escalated a situation and that you've gotten the doctors or the nurses recognition. And for the negative, you can say things like the patient refused medication and that you've dealt with an abusive resident or something like that. And then the next question is, what is your biggest strength? Right? This question is very important. So here you must tell them your genuine strength and give examples, okay? Make sure there are things that are relevant. So here you could say that you're a team worker and that you can work under pressure. All right, basically things around that. So when it comes to questions like what is your greatest weakness, right? You must give them your weaknesses, but please let it not be something that is related to the role you're applying for. So give them real weaknesses and tell them that you're doing something about it, okay? But let it not be related to the role that you're applying for. All right, this is very, very important. So because we're dealing with the healthcare assistant role, you could talk about public speaking, right? You could say that you're a shy person. Of course, public speaking has nothing to do with this role, right? So you could say that you're shy, that you can't stand in public and talk, right? And that you speak only one language, all right? That you would have loved to learn so many other languages, but you speak only one language. Just basically things that are not related to what you're applying for. Okay, of course, as a healthcare assistant, nobody expects you to speak plenty languages, and then nobody expects you to stand in public and talk. Okay, so just make sure you tell them something that is not related to healthcare jobs. So sometimes I might give you a scenario, okay, like tell you a story and ask you what you would do in that situation. So for instance, they might ask you that imagine that you were employed newly and you came into this home and then a resident called you to give him a cup of tea or something, and they would ask you, what would you do in that situation? So because you are new to this role, you don't know anything about that resident. They have what they call care plan, okay? Each resident or each patient have their care plans. All right, that means what is applicable to this person is not applicable to this person. Okay, so you're expected to say that you just look for the care plan of that resident to see if what he's asking for is okay for him to take. Okay, because some residents are not allowed to take some things, okay, but being aged and being sick, they might not understand it. So it's left for you to guide them and give them the right thing, okay? So somebody who's likely to choke is not expected to take biscuits, okay? But they might be asking for biscuits, and if you give that person biscuits, he will choke and he might even die, right? So it's expected of you to check each person's care plan before you do anything, so you don't give the person what he's not supposed to have. Okay, and then they might ask you, what would you do with a patient who is constantly using the buzzer? A buzzer is like a bell that patients use to call for assistance. So if they need help from anybody, they call for help, right? They just press the buzzer. Okay, so that's asking you, what would you do in this situation, right? There's this particular patient that is always calling, like always, like you left the room, he's ringing the bell, you left the room, he's ringing the bell. What would you do in that situation? So you can say target appropriate use, you can say communication, like you tell the person that you have other people to attend to, so that he should stop ringing the bell because you've attended to him. You know, just communicate with him and let him understand the consequences of using that bell over and over again. Okay, you can also talk about teamwork as well. Now they might ask you, what would you do if you saw broken glass in the ward? Okay, in this kind of question, safety and urgency should be at the back of your mind. Okay, so basically you are expected to say that you will clean it up immediately, because leaving it to go and call a cleaner or leaving it to go and call who is responsible for it, somebody might just run into it and get injured. Okay, so just tell them that you're going to take care of it. Now they might ask you a question on confidentiality, like understanding that there's confidentiality where you work. They might say that a resident will come to you to tell you something and you'll be like, I have something to tell you, please don't tell anybody. Okay, they'll ask you, in this situation, what would be your response? So basically you're expected to say that you won't promise him or her that you won't tell anybody. So you let him know that it depends on what he has to say. Okay, because if he tells you a secret and you tell it to somebody else, you have let his confidence down. Like, as you have betrayed him because you promised him you're going to keep it to yourself. So you have to tell him it depends on what he has to say. Okay, if it's something bad, I'm going to let other people know. Right, so it's up to him to now tell you that thing or not. But please don't tell him, please tell me, I won't tell anybody. No, please don't do that. They might go for that to ask you, can you work antisocial hours? Okay, your answer should be yes. Right, that's you're willing to work at times that are not usually your normal work hours. Okay, but if you can't, you can also let them know. But I feel like because you want the job, you just want to impress them. So for interviews, some people say you shouldn't ask about the pay. Some people say you can ask, but I don't know, it's up to you. So these are some of the interview questions and possible answers, okay? Usually after every interview, they will now ask you if you have any questions for them, right? So then you can now go ahead to ask them questions like, can you tell me more about the team that I could be working with potentially if I'm successful? You know, something like that. You could also ask them questions like, what would you advise me to do prior to joining the team to help me prepare myself? So you can also let them know that you're eager to improve your skills and develop yourself, that they should suggest to you courses and trainings that you can do, to help you prepare for the role very well. Right? So things like that. And then you can also invite some questions based on the conversation of the day. That's conversation that you guys have had from the beginning of the interview to the end. You can invite a question from there and ask them. Okay? Those questions will make you appear like you know what you are doing. Okay, so that's basically it for this video. Okay, so to everyone who has an interview, I wish you all the best. All right, and to those who are yet to get to the interview stage, keep applying. Okay, apply to as many care homes as possible. All right, I'm still going to come on here and give you guys list of more companies, more care homes and agencies that are currently recruiting and giving sponsorship. Okay, so please don't give up, keep applying. People are applying and people are getting interviewed, right? So please don't give up. Remember that this is an opportunity of a lifetime, so you shouldn't give up. That the first person said no to you or that the first application didn't go through doesn't mean you should give up. Keep applying. Okay, my next video will be on tips on how to write a perfect CV, okay, for the healthcare assistant role. All right, so please anticipate that video. Turn on your notification bell so when I post that video or any video at all on this channel, you will be the first to know. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Please follow me on social media. All my handles are in the description box. Leave a comment for me or give me video ideas. If you want me to discuss anything, you can tell me in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.